How's it going, guys? And welcome back to BL3's Forgotten, the series where I take a look at underused and not talked about pieces of gear to determine whether or not they deserve to be remembered within the modern meta of the game, or should be left behind and forgotten. And today we are taking a look at the Ivan's Redeye rocket pod. If you'd like to farm the Redeye rocket pod for yourself, you're first going to need to make sure that you do have the director's cut and have completed the Ava's Murder Mystery quest line. Once you've done that, you're going to want to head over to Scryer's Crypt and run all the way over to the boss arena at the end as we are farming the Seer. While the Seer is quite a tough boss, the Redeye rocket pod does have a 40% drop chance from her, so it's not too bad. Ivan's Redeye rocket pod, or just the rocket pod as I'm going to be referring to it throughout this video, is a legendary Vladof heavy. The rocket pod is able to come in any of the elements and can come as a ×1 or ×2, consuming 1 and 2 ammo per shot respectively. When you pick up the rocket pod, you will notice a large red mark showing on the ground, and this is your indicator of where you are going to hit, as every shot fired from the rocket pod arcs out as a mortar. Every kill with the rocket pod adds an extra free rocket to the next burst of your shot. This stacks up to 4 times and only resets after killing a boss or a badass. The rocket pod is probably the single most ammo efficient rocket launcher in Borderlands history. The absolute fucking value that you get per ammo on this launcher is nuts, and it's actually why it's worth spending more ammo and taking the ×2, also because the ×2 is actually more damage than just the ×1 even with 2-Fang and plain dirty. But those stacking rocket bursts, those don't take ammo. Those are completely free, as it says, at no ammo cost, which means for 2 ammo, just 2 measly ammo, you are firing 10 rockets at max stacks. The only thing even comparable to that ammo efficiency is like maybe a back burner, but also the back burner is actually probably harder to hit every projectile on most enemies than this is, because this thing has a huge splash radius and just huge area coverage because of how many rockets you're spamming out. Along with being able to come in every element, the rocket pod has a lot of potential and a lot of things going for it. Not to mention, this is one of the newest guns, so why is it actually not that popular and barely ever talked about? Well, I think part of the reason is that this released alongside things like the Revolter and the Free Radical and the Guardian Angel, and to a lesser extent the Bird of Prey, Atlas Replay, and the Ionic Disruptor, all of which are very good pieces of gear, some of which may be a little bit too good, but even the things that were kind of overshadowed by the way too good things, like the Bird of Prey, Ionic Disruptor, and the Atlas Replay, those are still well known within the communities of people that actually enjoy those types of guns. And heavies just already being overall less popular for the most part, it left the rocket pod in this kind of state where just not really anyone talked about it too much or was super excited about it. I was, though, because I'm fucking weird, I guess. I love mortars. I loved the fucking Vladof mortar launchers. They have been my favorite underbarrel for so long, ever since I found them. So when there was a launcher that was only a mortar, I was very happy. But of course, mortars have a very odd firing pattern and a very odd playstyle of looking at the ground to hit most things, and this also definitely would have hurt its popularity quite a lot for those who did pick one up and try it out for a second. And while this is one of my favorite launchers, and while it can perform very well, and while it is genuinely some of the best damage you can get for your ammo, there's one more massive, just glaring issue with this gun, and is why I think overall, more than anything else, it isn't that popular. And it's because those that do actually give it a chance and pick it up and play with it for more than just a couple shots will very quickly come to realize just how big of a flaw that one little section of text is that reads resets after killing a badass or boss. While it is quite cool that this is literally the only way that you can reset it, meaning you can even swap back and forth between guns and keep your burst up, even if you're not even trying to, even if you're being careful to switch off to something else to kill a badass, using this gun you will eventually kill a badass enemy with it, just because of how big of an area the damage can cover, and also because of how many badasses are in endgame content, things like the Circles of Slaughter and the takedowns and trials and even the fucking anvil. When you're mobbing, which clearly this rocket launcher is supposed to be for, it's just unavoidable that you are going to kill a badass during endgame mobbing. And this literally drops from one of the raid bosses, so I don't think that this is really meant for early game. The rocket pod is one of my favorite guns in Borderlands. It is really fun to use. It is just such a good time to use. And along with being fun, it just has a lot going for it. It is a very solid gun. It is very ammo efficient, and it comes in every single element that you could want it in, along with the farm for it not being too annoying because it has a very high drop chance. It is just so held back, not even by balance, it feels like a quality of life issue more than anything. So best I can say is give it a try, mob with it for a bit, and see if you can put up with it. And if you can, that's great, because I genuinely believe that this is probably one of the most fun and also probably one of the better heavies in the game. But that's about do it for me on this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that if you did. I will be live on Twitch right after this video goes up, so if you want to come and stop on by, there will be a link down in the description, and right under that will be a link to my Discord if you'd like to come join and hang out. But with that all being said, I hope to see you guys in the next one.